Who's taking notes tonight? I missed a lot. Oh, you are perfect. Okay, so let's talk about number one here. What do you think it means that all people are entitled to their own opinions, but not to their own facts? I love that.
Good question.
Yeah.
Oh, do you guys want to state your names really quick?
So, Vicki.
Chris Contini.
Andrea Muse.
Maddie Darnell. So to answer your question, I think facts personally are science and research based. So not everyone can have their own facts necessarily unless they're opinions, which are different.
Right.
Hello, Danae.
Hello.
Hi. We're just talking about number one, that you're entitled to your own opinions, but not to your own facts. Some people state their opinion like it is a fact. Haven't you seen that before? It's like, I know that's the way it is.
Yeah.
When they don't really have anything to back it up. So
I had down here that facts are truth, and truth shouldn't be subjective, and our opinions really are subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Can I ask a quick question? So this research paper that's due this weekend, I haven't been able to find out how many pages should be on it.
You know, it doesn't really say.
Yeah, I was one of the same things.
Like paragraphs. Let me see if I can find it really quick.
I was under the impression that it is just supposed to look like the sample that she gave us.
Okay, all right, because
So
that's
just like the bullet points, and then the 4 articles sort of fleshed out a little bit, you know, just a summary of them, and then your what do you call it? Not a concluding, but
opposing view.
Opposing view. Thank you.
I think with the amount of things that she's asking for us to do in the research paper, it will end up being like a lot of pages anyways.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
She's just asking to cite 2 different articles in each one. So that's.
Oh, okay. So you just kind of like, because that's what I was really confused on. I didn't know we had a research paper this week, which is my own fault, obviously. But yeah.
Because you're doing the same thread, on my thing that she wrote, she said you can use some of the same things from your outline.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so just use some of those as well. And I came up with some other things, like the opposing view. So.
Okay, so there's not necessarily like a page length requirement. It's more of like include all of these things, and once all of these things are included, then you're done.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I think.
All right, thank you. Sorry to go off on a different side.
No problem.
Can you
So
guys
we have
hear
any?
me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so do you have some other thoughts about what it means that all people are entitled to their own opinions, but not to their own facts? Or should we move on to number 2? Any thoughts?
I mean, I think that it kind of means that people are allowed to, like, I don't know, process ideas and their thoughts without maybe like a lot of judgment. I think allowing people to have their opinions, and you don't have to take them as necessarily truth. I think it's okay for people to say, you know, this is my thought, or this is what I think. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I think.
When I think of that question, I don't know if it's kind of like the same thing, but this is what kind of my mind goes to, back to my mission, and like how, you know, missionaries have like the white little handbook. And I feel like sometimes there is like those missionaries that like they were obedient and they tried to be obedient, but they would like make up their own rules, if that makes sense. Like they would try to go by the rules of the handbook, and then they would like end up like saying some random like nonsense rule, thinking that they had to do it in order to be like a good missionary, if that makes sense. So I feel like in incorporating it with opinions and facts, like you can, you know, maybe if they were to think, oh, you know, maybe if I were to do this or be obedient this will make me a better missionary, or maybe this will like help my spirituality. But you know, don't make it like your own rule. Like it's not a missionary rule, so don't make it a fact, you know, if that makes sense. So that's what I kind of think of it also.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, this question. So far, we've the importance of having the doctrine in our hearts. Why do you think it's also important to have good science in our minds and mouths? I was thinking of that that little video clip of Elder Oaks. He stated exactly what we believe as a church, but he also quoted references from scientific studies.
Oh, yeah.
Over and over again. It wasn't just his opinion, but he was stating, you know, this is what research shows. And I thought that was amazing how he did it. He's an amazing speaker anyway, but he did use a lot of, and that's science. That's not just my opinion. You know, I'm using things from what's been proven.
Yeah, I think different people are impacted by different things, and I think that's why there's so many different speakers at General Conference and Women's Conference and things like that, and they have so many different kinds of talks. It's not just one type, and I really liked that talk by Elder Oaks. I think that type of talk, giving that type of information, where it was like fact-based, and he was going off. It was fact after fact after fact, and I think that's kind of there's a term for it. It's like, it's not shock value, obviously, but it's like the kind of facts that are like, whoa, what? That kind of help give you a realization that like these are things that are going on in the world, and you should really know that. And it helps you kind of put into perspective like what's happening, and
Right.
become an advocate for the good.
Not really worried about a lot because
He could have emphasized things with his own testimony as well, but it just so much more to people who maybe are, you know, studying the church or members.
Yeah. And it
yeah, I think just, oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say it helps facts speak more to non-members than testimony does, just because they can associate better with facts than they can with testimony.
Right. Okay, Danae?
No, yeah, I was actually going to say the exact same thing that Maddie just said, that, you know, just as there's so many different speakers, there's also so many different learners. So everyone learns in different ways, and sometimes in order for someone to like be impacted by something, they do need to hear a fact for them to be like, oh, you know, that's true. You know, it's not always just like by people's opinion. Sometimes they need to hear facts because that's just how they learn and how they understand things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that it just makes the gospel, you see the gospel in a greater light when you see science and the gospel used in a talk. So you see like, wow, that makes sense why we have A, B, or C commandment, because it shows that this science of whatever, children out of marriage and the statistics of how they do in life, or why marriage is so important, or why family, the system is so important. I think that's why science or facts are like great in, especially in spiritual and like general conference or in talks and sacrament meeting. I just think it adds a greater light and a greater understanding, and it builds your testimony a lot. That does for me anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, any other comments on that one? It's pretty covered easily, huh? Okay, so then it goes into the myth and the gender gap video. That was the lady from Prager University. Did you guys get a chance to see that? And it asks, does the author attempt to fairly present all perspectives? You just got to talk.
It seemed to me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it seemed to me like she did a really good job doing that. I felt like she was answering a lot of the opposing views questions as she was speaking. It wasn't just that she was saying, well, what they said is just totally stupid, and what's real is, you know, I mean, she was addressing their research or their facts with her research and the truth. So I thought that was really, I thought she did a really good job with that balance.
I thought so too. Now she backed up her statements with information and research. And then I wrote down that she had studied the claims of victim statistics. So if it's a statistic, it's been, you know, researched and put out there, hopefully, you know, if it's reliable. But then she said, presented some of them, she said, well, some of them are misleading. He uses averages and, you know, instead of paying attention to the smaller details. So, and I think she did a good job of perspective. Like you said, she did present one side and then kind of refuted it. What else, anyone? It just asked the same thing, same video. Does she discuss alternative interpretations, including those with which the researcher disagrees? Anyone have some thoughts on that video? Well, she said she had, if you go into a college campus and ask what they want, the women want to be, they'll say doctors, lawyers, you know, whatever. But none of them would ever say a wife and a mother because it's looked down upon. We really need, it's not really a social issue, but they should be allowed to choose the path that makes them happiest. And if, you know, having a career or whatever isn't what is happy, but makes them as happy as like being a mother. Being a mother, you know, is kind of what we're do and be. So, but I like that she says choose the path that makes them happiest and let them be allowed to choose that. If any other thoughts? Okay, well, the next one is the Feminism 2.0 with Tammy Bruce. Chris, did you watch that one?
Was that the one that was optional at the end?
Yeah.
I did it because I was working on this sorry, she's probably going to watch this, on this wonderful research project.
Did anyone watch that one? Like the last three questions are all on that. I wasn't going to watch it either until I saw that on the list. But what she is, her name is Tammy Bruce, and she was one of the directors of the National Organization for Women. And she said she feels both guilt and goodness from what she did because you know, the women are getting better wages and recognized that way, but she said they've taken it so far that it's just out of control. And she says we should implement a new feminism that lets them, let's see, you know, like instead of, you know, they were upset at men for being exploited, but now they're exploited even more. And instead of wanting to be women, they're being like men, which they didn't want to be like in the first place. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. The sources, I didn't really notice sources that she used other than she quoted an author. So if no one's watched, then we're probably not going to have a great discussion on that one. So anyway, that's the last one. The last 2, 3 are in that feminism video. So that kind of summarizes it. But any thoughts or other questions or whatever about the week?
Is anybody stressed for their paper?
I'm not. Mine's about done.
Oh.
I have more time than you do.
I had a full-blown meltdown today. Tears like you would not believe.
Oh.
I am.
I spent literally all day from 9 yesterday morning until 2 in the morning this morning looking for sources for this paper and can't find. I found one paper that had like the statistics and all the stuff that the outline is asking for. Mm-hmm. Nothing else.
What's your subject?
Religious intolerance.
Oh.
Oh, no one wants to admit that.
I always pick the wrong topic. I always do. I never learned my lesson.
I try to go for easy, but I never do. So I still don't think I've chosen something.
What topic did you pick?
I haven't.
Oh, I thought you had to put it you had to choose on that Google Doc that she had at the beginning of the semester.
Gosh. Did I?
2 weeks ago. 2 or 3 weeks ago.
How do I access that?
Go back to lesson 1 or 2.
I will do that, and that will be a lifesaver. Oh.
It's also the same topic that you should have done on the, what is it?
The outline.
The what?
The outline is what they call it.
Yeah, the doctrine.
About 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Did you do that, Maddie? That outline? It's the same subject.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure I did. Let's see if I can find it though. That's the great question. Oh wait, I'm sure I saved it on my computer.
You have too many to worry about, huh?
I'm having the exact same problem. I just get completely confused as to what class I'm doing, what work I'm doing for what class, and what. I didn't even know it was this group tonight. I don't even know what day it is anymore.
Well, they're all so similar that I think that's the problem. Yeah. Was it the family doctrine assignment?
Yes.
Yes.
Aha! Then I have it. Aha!
So I have a question. They had the topic. Can you see that topic?
Yeah.
We're supposed to fill out one of those for each of the sources that we use.
Yeah.
Do you get that? Somebody explain it to me just a little bit.
She did add a couple of example papers. I don't know if you saw that maybe in an email or the weekly message or something. I can't remember where I read it.
It's in the announcements.
I chose a good one.
What'd you choose?
Not a good one, but a good to explain one. I chose abuse.
Oh gosh, there'll be all kinds of statistics on that.
Exactly.
I want to change my topic.
Are you allowed to?
I don't know.
Oh, you should ask, because if you're having a really tough time, I always find it's really hard for me to write about things that I don't find interesting at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting. I just literally, from 9 until 2 in the morning, and then today from 9 until 3:30.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I found one article.
That's tough.
Just put what you can, and if there's none of that of it, if you can't find the source or you can't find the methodology, if it doesn't have a methodology, just put not available, but just know that your grade will reflect the information that you put in. So 0.
Yeah, no, that's tough. That's really tough. I wonder if you can like change it semi to make it a little bit simpler to find things, like religious incontinence in adolescence, and then you could like skew the research to be able to find it a little bit, maybe.
I've tried doing school. I've tried religious intolerance in schools, with children, in families, in the military, and everything. You'd be surprised. Like, a lot of it is focused on how religion is intolerant of the non-religious.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I'm supposed to be focusing on like the threat to our religious freedoms.
That's really tough.
So back to that topic title page for each resource. Are you just going to submit that with the paper as part of the?
I would say submit it rather than don't submit it. The worst that can happen is that she doesn't need it.
I think that is that. I thought that was the paper.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I don't think we're writing like a whole fleshed out paper by Saturday.
Yeah,
I'm going by
summary.
the outline that she, like the example. That's what I'm going by.
Not that, but I don't think it looks like she has the first page is like the 4 categories: statistical data, and 4 others. But then it says to fill out the topic title for each of the resources that you use.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It sounded like
your 4 bullet points are supposed to tell why your topic is important, that it does have some kind of importance, and then each of your 4 topics are just going to be covered by your 4 different papers that you've researched. Mm-hmm. So, but then you just do that outline page with the topic at the top. You do all of that, one for each of your papers, and then your opposing view paragraphs at the end, and that's all we're turning in. I mean, we're not writing a full-blown research paper with that.
Yeah, because a full-blown research paper is at least, like, I would say 8 pages to like 15. So to write that's what I thought. So to write that in like a week.
Yeah, no, it's not bad.
No. Yeah, I was stressing and I was like, no. But no, I think it'll be okay. Yeah. Oh, Darcy's back.
Sorry, all of a sudden it got really staticky, and so.
You're in a car again, huh?
I'm always in a car every week at this time. I'm in a car.
We're just talking about the research paper.
Did you say you're talking about the research paper?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Are you all ready for yours, Darcy?
I've done some research.
What's your topic?
My topic is I'm just blanking because I have 2 research papers due this week.
I'm so sorry.
It's oh my gosh, women, the women's movement.
Oh, right? That's a good one.
That's this class. I'm like, that's this class, right? Yeah. So that's mine.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't really easy to find research on. It's kind of just like opinionated a little bit. I mean, there's some facts to back it up, but a lot of it's opinion. So
I'm having the exact same problem. I found a ton of religious intolerance.
Oh yeah, that would be hard.
Mm-hmm. I've already emailed her like 3 times today. I don't think she's going to check her email anymore. So do you want me to read back the notes from tonight before Maddie's got to get going?
Well, we'll let Maddie go.
Okay, so the first question having to do with opinions and facts. Maddie said facts are researched based and different from opinion. I mentioned that facts are truth and shouldn't be subjective. Andrea said you process ideas and thoughts and should be able to do that without your opinions being taken as truth. And Danae said that she felt like she gave an example of being on her mission, and that sometimes people will add rules to what they have in order to try to make it better, but that you shouldn't try to make up rules and then call them facts. On the second question about having the doctrine in our hearts, Vicki mentioned Elder Oaks's video clip, and that what we believe, but also scientific studies, and then he used a lot of research. Maddie said that there's a lot of speakers at conference with multiple messages about things that are really going on in the world. Vicki said that these were emphasized, or that Elder Oaks emphasized his research with his testimony. Maddie brought up facts oftentimes speak more to non-members than a testimony will in the beginning. And Danae mentioned that everyone learns a different way and that facts emphasize truth. Andrea said, you see the gospel in a greater light when spiritual doctrine and science and empirical facts work together. For the third question about the gender wage gap video, Vicki was mentioning that she backed up her statements with research. And I mentioned that I thought she did a good job of balancing the opposing views with her own research and with truth, and wasn't just doing a one-sided job. Vicki said when she mentioned that you can go on a college campus and a lot of girls don't mention that their dream is to be a wife and a mother, because that wouldn't be a very popular answer, but that she was saying that girls should be able to choose what makes them the happiest, and if that's what makes them the happiest, they should not be ashamed to admit that. And then the last question was talking about the feminism videos, which nobody but Vicki watched. Darcy, did you see those?
Yeah.
The optional videos?
Yes, and that was helpful, actually, to me.
For you, for your project too, I bet, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
He had some great thoughts, and as a former director or board member, whatever, of National Organization for Women, she was.
Yeah, those were good.
Okay, so Vicki sort of summed it up by saying that a director for the National Organization for Women was speaking, that she was saying women are getting better wages, but that the women's movement has just taken things too far and it's totally out of control now, and that rather than being like women, they are trying to be like men, which they don't really like in the first place.
I know. That's what I'm having a hard time with in my paper, because I just am probably the opposite of a lot of women, and I just think that the women's movement has really kind of ruined our society. Like, think about when the family started, being torn apart and things. A lot of it was when women went back to work, and we were fighting for all these freedoms, but it's also ruining so many things. So I don't know. I am probably passionate the opposite way of most women. Not that I want to be barefoot and pregnant in my kitchen, but
right.
Anyway.
No, we understand. Okay, thanks. That was great notes, Chris. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll probably make assignments for next week.
I can take notes.
I really can do the invitation. I totally spaced it. Sorry about that. So I can do the invite next week. And we want it at 6:30 or?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that works.
Okay. So Darcy,
who said they're taking notes?
I can. Maddie can.
Okay.
I sent out a reminder. Did anybody get that?
I did.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can do the reminders this week or next week, I mean.
Okay. Who's going to lead and who's going to, let's see what's left.
I'm happy to lead if you guys want. This is Andrea. I haven't done that yet.
Do you want to lead, Andrea? You can lead. Andrea?
Say it again. I kind of cut out on my mind for
Yeah,
some
no
reason.
problem. So Andrea can lead next week?
Yeah, yeah, I'll lead. I'm happy to do that.
Is there anything else that I missed?
Those are the only ones.
Invite, note, reminders, and lead. Okay.
Also, did anyone else notice last week that I accidentally put the camera on just my face? I didn't know that if you clicked on your face, because usually I do so that, because I don't like it when it revolves. It's a pet peeve of mine, and I didn't know that if I clicked on me in the live, it would just record my face.
That's funny.
Yeah, so the entire video last week,
all good. I don't mind a bit. That's a pretty face to have on that video.
I went back and looked at it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is an hour long of my face.
That's hilarious.
Oh, it was
so funny. I would not have known that either. That's good to know that that's what happened.
Yeah. But
Wow.
yeah, it does do that. So in the future, if anybody starts it, don't click on your face.
I'll have to remember that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. There's nothing else. I guess we'll see you next week.
All right.
Hey, what do I do with these notes? Am I supposed to turn these notes in or
No?
I think so. We're just supposed to summarize them at the end.
Okay.
So, thank you.
I'll submit this to the board.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck on your paper.
Bye,
Thanks. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.